Year 3275, the human colony on Varan 5 had barely begun to settle. The planet was rich in minerals, water, and energy sources, but it had a dangerous reputation. The skies were stormy, and the forests were thick and alive with unknown predators. Most humans thought it would be a challenge, but manageable. Commander Lyra Kale walked through the settlement, her eyes scanning the horizon. Buildings of metal and stone rose between the dense trees, and humans worked tirelessly, setting up farms, energy stations, and communication towers. The planet was harsh, but humanity was determined. Humans always adapted. But the Krylox had other plans. Far away, orbiting a neighboring star system, the Krylox watched the humans with growing fear. Humans had survived attacks, had colonized hostile worlds before, and were expanding too fast for the Krylox comfort. They decided that humans could not be allowed to thrive on Varan 5. The Krylox unleashed their deadliest creation, massive, genetically engineered creatures built to kill. They called them Reserbeasts. These creatures were monstrous, larger than the tallest human building. With claws like curved steel and jaws strong enough to crush vehicles, their eyes glowed red in the darkness, and their bodies were armored with thick, natural scales. When the creatures landed on Varan 5, chaos erupted immediately. Lyra and her squad were the first to witness the attack. The creatures moved faster than any human could run. Their claws tore through walls. Their tails smashed vehicles, and their shrieks echoed through the settlement. People screamed and ran. Fires erupted across the colony. Lyra barked orders. "Take cover. Evacuate the civilians. Hold your ground." Her soldiers tried to fight, using rifles and energy blasters, but the creatures were too fast, too strong. Bullets barely scratched their armored skin. One creature leaped over a wall, smashing through a defensive turret. Another knocked over a transport truck, sending crates of supplies flying. Lyra ran toward the canyon at the edge of the settlement, hoping to lure one of the creatures away from the civilians. The ground shook under its massive steps. Dust and debris filled the air. And then she saw one razor beast separated from the others. It was massive, with long black spikes running along its back. Its red eyes glowed brighter as it focused on Lyra. She froze. The creature crouched low, muscles rippling. It was ready to strike. For a moment, everything went quiet. Lyra could hear her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. She gripped her weapon tightly, ready to fire, but the creature did not attack immediately. Instead, it paused. Its head tilted slightly, and its glowing eyes seemed curious. Lyra took a careful step forward. The creature mirrored her movement, maintaining its crouch, but not lunging. She raised her weapon, hesitating. Her mind raced. Why is it hesitating? The Reser Beast growled softly, but it was different from the earlier shrieks, less aggressive, almost calculating. Lyra's instincts told her to run, but her curiosity held her in place. She noticed something else. The creature's eyes were tracking her movements. Not just reacting, they were observing. Every step she took, every breath she drew, it was analyzing. Lyra lowered her weapon slightly, testing its reaction. The Reser Beast took a step back. Its claws scraped the canyon floor, but it did not attack. It was as if it understood something or remembered something from a distant instinct. Around her, the settlement was burning. Screams echoed in the distance. Civilians ran for their lives, but here in this quiet canyon, time seemed to stretch. It was a tense standoff. Human against monster, predator against prey. Her communicator buzzed urgently. "Commander, the creatures are everywhere." "Civilians, I see it," Lyra interrupted, keeping her eyes locked on the creature. "Not now. Focus on this one. I watch how it moves." Which our beast took. Another cautious step toward her. Lyra's mind raced. She realized something incredible. The creatures were not mindless killers. They had patterns, instincts, maybe even intelligence. This one, at least, was thinking. It paused, observing, calculating. Lyra exhaled slowly, keeping her voice calm. "We need to study them, understand them. They are dangerous, yes, but they are not impossible." The creature growled again, louder this time, but still did not attack. Then, with a sudden movement, it leaped back and vanished into the forest. Lyra lowered her weapon fully, adrenaline still coursing through her veins. She looked at the canyon, empty now, and realized the truth. These creatures could be studied. They could be tamed. Or controlled. Her eyes hardened. She knew the Krylox would send more. Larger, deadlier creatures. But she also knew something. Else something no one else had realized yet. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and humans always survived. Lyra turned back toward her squad. Prepare for the next attack. Watch how they move. Learn from them. This is not just survival, it's the beginning. And somewhere in the shadows of the forest, the Reser Beast paused, its red eyes glowing, almost like it was watching her back. The audience is left wondering, will it attack next time, or is there a connection forming? The battle for Varen 5 had only just begun. The fires of Varen 5 still burned in the distance. Smoke curled into the sky, and the screams of survivors echoed across the settlement. Commander Lyra Kale had barely caught her breath after the first attack, when she realized one thing clearly. Fighting these creatures head-on was useless. They were fast, strong, and intelligent. But intelligence could be studied. Patterns could be learned. And Lyra had already noticed one creature hesitate just enough to give her hope. "Gather a team," Lyra ordered, her voice steady despite the adrenaline. "We are not just surviving, we are learning." Her team, seasoned soldiers and scientists, gathered in a reinforced bunker. Maps of the surrounding forests and canyons were spread across tables. Notes were scribbled about creature sightings, attack patterns, and behaviors. "We can't fight them like conventional enemies," said Jaren, her second in command. "They're too fast. They predict us before we move, and we stop trying to predict them," Lyra said. "We observe. We study. We learn them." The team nodded. Their first mission was risky. Capture a small razor beast alive. Single creature, preferably the one that had hesitated in the canyon. They needed to understand its behavior, its intelligence, and maybe even communicate with it. Hours later, under the dim light of Varen 5's twin moons, Lyra and her team entered the forest. The air was thick with mist, the sounds of unknown creatures echoing through the trees. Every step was careful. Every movement calculated. They found tracks, first deep claw marks on the soft ground.
Fresh.
The Reser Beast was close. Then they saw it. A smaller creature, not as large as the one in the canyon but still imposing, crouched near a riverbank. Scales shimmered under. Moonlight and its red eyes flicked toward them. The team froze. The creature's muscles tensed, ready to strike. But instead of attacking, it watched. It sniffed the air, cocked its head, and waited. "This is it," Lyra whispered. "Stay calm. Move slowly." The soldiers spread nets and tranquilizer devices, but Lyra signaled them to pause. She wanted to see its reaction. The Reser Beast's eyes followed every motion. It was not mindless, it was calculating. Lyra stepped forward, hands empty. Slowly, she placed a piece of raw meat on the ground and stepped back. The creature sniffed, circled it, and after a tense moment, ate it. "Good," Lyra breathed. "We have its attention." Over the next few hours, the humans tried different approaches, gestures, tones of voice, and sounds. The creature responded to some, ignored others. It was learning, adapting, and even showing signs of curiosity. Then came the first real test. A larger Reser Beast appeared from the forest, roaring loudly. Smaller creature froze, showing fear for the first time. Lyra realized something crucial. These creatures had social instincts. They were not just predators. They had pack behavior. The smaller one responded to leadership and guidance. It could follow commands if it recognized authority. "Look at it," Joran said. "It's afraid of the bigger one. But it listens to us. We can use this." Lyra nodded. "Exactly. Intelligence is power, fear is control, and humans understand both." They spent days observing and testing. The creature began to recognize individual humans, following them from a distance, learning their routines. Small gestures like a hand signal or a soft whistle started influencing its actions. One night, as the team camped near a cliff, a massive creature attacked the perimeter. The smaller Reser beast, which had been tamed slowly over the past days, reacted instinctively. It leaped into action, defending the humans from the larger predator. The team was stunned. It worked perfectly, instinct guiding it, but humans directing it. Lyra smiled. It's working. We can fight them. Not with guns, but with understanding. The first capture attempt had turned into something far greater. Humans were learning how to communicate with the creatures, not just control them. The Reser beast that had once been a mindless killer now protected the humans. Days had passed since the humans captured the first Reser beast. Commander Lyra Kale and her team had set up a small research outpost near the canyon where the creatures had first attacked. Fires from previous battles still smoldered in the distance, a reminder that Varen 5 was no safe place. The smaller creature, now cautiously loyal to the humans, followed them everywhere. It watched their actions, learned their routines, and responded to commands. The scientists and soldiers were amazed. It was not just surviving, it was thinking, learning, and adapting. Lyra studied the creature closely. Its eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, and it seemed to understand more than they had imagined. These are not just weapons, she said quietly. They are intelligent, and they communicate in ways we don't fully understand yet. Jaren nodded, taking notes. They have social structures, packs, leaders, followers. That hesitation we sit wasn't fear. It was judgment. They decide and they obey orders. The team began experimenting carefully, observed how the creature responded to different gestures, tones of voice, and even pheromones. Slowly, they learned how to guide its instincts. One command could make it calm. Another could make it attack, but only when humans wanted. Then came the first breakthrough. Lyra noticed the creature reacting to signals from the Krylocks. The aliens had used a device to communicate with the beasts, directing them like soldiers. But the humans discovered that by overriding the signals, with sound patterns and pheromones, they could control the creature independently. This changes everything, Lyra whispered. We can turn their weapons into allies, but understanding the Reser beasts was only the first step. Humans needed to know their strengths and weaknesses. They began testing its physical abilities, speed, strength, endurance, and senses. Each test revealed something new. The creature could leap over enormous distances, detect motion from miles away, and survive extreme temperatures. Yet it had instincts that could be influenced. A simple hand gesture or a soft whistle could redirect its focus. Fear of larger predators or humans in authority shaped its decisions. It was alive but moldable. One morning, a scout reported movement near the forest edge. A group of Reser beasts 3 times larger than the tamed one was approaching. The humans prepared to defend, but Lyra had a plan. She stepped forward, holding her arms wide. The small tamed creature moved to her side, growling softly. Yes. The larger beasts neared. The small one advanced, standing between humans and predators. The larger Reser beast hesitated. They sniffed, growled, and then, strangely, retreated. Jaren's eyes widened. It's amazing. Our creature didn't fight it, led them. What? They recognize hierarchy. Lyra smiled grimly. Exactly. We're not just taming them, we're teaching them human strategy. The humans now understood something crucial. These creatures could be trained like soldiers, but they had to respect instincts, leadership, and patterns. They were not mindless. They were adaptive, intelligent, and social. Over the next few weeks, the humans conducted more experiments. They learned Reser beasts follow social hierarchies and respect leaders. They are highly adaptable in combat and hunting. They can communicate with each other through growls, body language, and subtle movements. They can learn from humans but retain independent thought. Lyra realized that with careful guidance, humans could turn a deadly species into an unstoppable ally. But the Krylocks would notice eventually. It would send larger, smarter, and more deadly creatures. Humans had to prepare for that. Then, during a night patrol, A massive creature, the largest they had seen yet, emerged from the forest. It was a king beast, and its presence sent a wave of fear through the team. The small, tamed creature growled, standing protectively in front of the humans. Lyra raised her hand slowly. The king beast paused. Its eyes scanned the group, then fixed on the smaller creature. A tense silence hung in the air. The audience is left wondering while the humans' first tamed razor beast survived this encounter. And can it influence the king beast? For hours, the humans and creatures faced each other. Lyra noticed patterns. The king beast respected the smaller creature's gestures. When the tamed razor beast stepped forward, the king beast hesitated. When it growled softly, the king beast backed away. It was proof. Intelligence and social structure could be exploited. Humans were learning the secret language of the razor beasts, a language the Kryloks had never considered. By dawn, the king beast had retreated into the forest, leaving humans unharmed. Lyra turned to her team. This is our chance. They can be guided. They can be allies. If we continue, we can turn the Kryloks' deadliest weapons into our strongest defenders. Jaren grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. We're not just surviving. We're planning. We're fighting smarter than our enemies, even before. The first battle? Lyra nodded. Her eyes scanned the horizon where the forest met the canyon. We have learned their language, understood their instincts, and seen their intelligence. The next step is to train them. We will not just defend this planet, we will take control of our destiny. The humans had begun their most dangerous experiment yet. They were not only studying the razor beasts, they were preparing to turn monsters into soldiers. And somewhere deep in the forest, unseen by human eyes, more creatures were listening, observing, and learning too. The audience is left with suspense. Can humans truly tame creatures designed to kill them? And how far will this bond go? Weeks had passed since the humans first began taming the razor beasts. Commander Lyra Kale and her team had turned a small section of the canyon into a training ground. The fires of the previous battles had cooled, leaving the forest scorched but alive. The small tamed razor beast followed Lyra everywhere, its glowing eyes now calm, almost loyal. Other captured creatures were slowly joining it, responding to commands and learning patterns. What had once been mindless killers were now becoming soldiers of a new kind. Lyra addressed her team early one morning. We've learned to understand them. Now we teach them. We train them to defend us, to fight with us. They are no longer threats. They are our allies. Aye! The humans began exercises, guiding creatures. Through obstacle courses, using signals and whistles to coordinate attacks, and rewarding compliance with food or praise. Each creature learned quickly, their instincts now honed and directed by humans. Jaren watched as a group of razor beasts leaped over walls, dodged traps, and followed precise movements. They are incredible, faster and stronger than any human soldier, and smarter than we expected. But it wasn't just about strength. The humans discovered strategy mattered. The creatures could flank enemies, ambush attackers, and even communicate silently through growls and gestures. Humans began to see them as partners, not weapons. Then came the first real test. The Kryloks, unaware that humans were taming their creation, sent a hunting pack to attack a distant outpost. The humans had set a trap, guiding the tamed razor beasts to intercept. As the wild creatures approached, the tamed ones moved into position. Their glowing eyes pierced the darkness of the forest. Lyra signaled, and the creatures sprang into action, not blindly, but with precision. The wild razor beasts lunged, but the tamed ones anticipated every move. A smaller creature dodged and countered, while a larger one used brute force to push attackers away from the humans. Drones and blasters supported the effort, but the creatures were the main force. Jaren shouted in awe, "They're doing it. They're fighting with us." The battle was quick, but decisive. The wild razor beasts, stronger but less disciplined, were driven back. Many retreated into the forest, while others submitted to the humans' growing influence. The tamed creatures howled triumphantly, their loyalty solidified. Lyra walked among them after the battle, her hand brushing the scales of one of the largest tamed beasts. You did well. Today you protected humanity. Tomorrow, we take the fight to them. The humans were learning rapidly. They trained creatures in formations, coordinated attacks, and even taught them to respond to commands during combat. Every creature had a role. Some were defenders, some attackers, some scouts. Word of the humans' success spread quickly. Colonists saw the creatures patrolling, defending settlements, and even guiding humans through dangerous terrain. The balance of power on Varen 5 was shifting. Humans were no longer the hunted. They were leaders of a new force. But Lyra knew the Krylox would respond. They would send bigger creatures, smarter packs, and more dangerous tactics. The humans' advantage came from strategy, understanding, and the bond between human and creature. That bond would be tested. One evening, as the team watched the sunset, from the canyon ridge a scout reported movement. A massive pack of wild reserbeasts, led by a king beast, was approaching. Lyra's heart raced, but she remained calm. "These are our warriors," she said softly, gesturing to the tamed creatures assembled below. "They are ready, and so are we." The audience sees tension building. The humans are preparing for their first real counterattack, riding creatures into battle against monsters meant to destroy them.
Ow.
When the wild pack, the humans had grown stronger. The tamed reserbeasts were no longer just tools. They were soldiers, scouts, and protectors. Commander Lyra Kale watched as her team coordinated maneuvers with the creatures. Each beast moved with purpose, responding instantly to signals, whistles, and gestures. The Krylox had sent larger packs, more organized and deadlier than before.
Ow.
But humans were ready. This was the first time they would take the fight to the enemy rather than just defend their settlements. Lyra addressed her team before the operation. "We fight smart, not blind. Our creatures are our strength. Follow their lead. Strike together. Show the Krylox that humanity cannot be hunted anymore." The humans rode out, tamed razor beasts, carrying soldiers deep into the forests where wild packs awaited. The trees shook under the massive creatures' steps. Dust and debris filled the air as the wild reserbeasts charged. The first clash was fierce. The wild creatures expected easy prey, but the tamed ones moved with precision and strategy. They flanked, blocked, and disrupted attacks. The humans guided them with hand signals and whistles, turning instinct into disciplined action. Then appeared the king beast, massive and terrifying, its glowing red eyes filled with rage. It lunged toward the humans, ready to crush them. But the tamed reserbeasts reacted instantly. The smaller ones led the attack, positioning strategically to block and confuse the king beast. The battle reached its peak. The humans fired coordinated blasts, guiding the creatures without harming them. The king beast hesitated, unsure how to respond to the intelligence and coordination of its opponents. Finally, the king beast stumbled and retreated, followed by its pack. The humans had won. They had turned the Krylox's deadliest weapons against them. Jaren breathed heavily. They actually fought with us, not against us. Incredible. Lyra nodded. This is just the start. The Krylox will come again. We must be ready to expand our army and train more creatures. Intelligence, strategy, and loyalty are now our greatest weapons. Over the next days, the humans captured and trained more reserbeasts. They improved coordination, tactics, and communication. Every creature had a role, every attack was calculated, and humans learned to think like predators. The Krylox realized their weapons had turned into allies for humans. Attacks failed. Supply lines were disrupted. Forward bases fell. Humans were now a formidable force, not to be underestimated. Celebrations erupted among the humans, colonists, and soldiers alike marveled at the creatures they had tamed. Children cautiously approached, and the beasts responded with calm recognition. Yet Lyra remained vigilant. The Krylox were still out there, larger, smarter, and deadlier creatures awaited. But humanity had discovered a new power, the ability to tame the untamable. That night, Lyra gazed at the stars. Fires from previous battles lit the horizon. Her creatures lay quietly, alert and loyal, surrounding the settlement like silent guardians. "This is just the beginning," she whispered. "The galaxy is watching, and we are ready." The audience is left with suspense. The Krylox may have retreated for now, but their next move will be deadly. Can humans continue to tame and control even stronger creatures? And how far will their newfound power take them? The stage was set for the final confrontation, the ultimate battle for Varen 5 and humanity's survival. The forest of Varen 5 was quiet at first light. Commander Lyra Kale rode atop the largest tamed Reser beast, its scales glinting in the rising sun. Around her, dozens of humans and their trained creatures gathered, forming a striking force. Every soldier, every beast, moved as one. The bond between human and creature was now unbreakable. The Krylox had returned, this time with their deadliest army yet, towering Reser beasts, packs bigger than anything humans had faced, and even specialized beasts designed to hunt humans exclusively. But the humans were ready. It learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Lyra signaled her team. "This is it. Our first full-scale counterattack. We fight together as one. Remember everything we've learned. Trust your creatures. They trust you." The ground shook as the Krylox army advanced. Trees splintered under the massive steps of their beasts. Dust rose in clouds, mixing with the tension in the air. Humans held their positions, hearts pounding, but courage burning brighter. The first clash was violent. Wild Reser beasts lunged with lethal speed, expecting humans to panic. But the tamed creatures moved in perfect coordination. They blocked attacks, herded predators away from humans, and even turned the wild Reser beasts against one another. The humans guided them with precise signals, forming an organized, living army. Jaren shouted, "They're responding to every move." Lyra, look at them. The audience sees the creatures' teamwork. Smaller tamed Reser beasts flank. Larger ones charge, and humans coordinate attacks with disciplined precision. The Krylox beasts are strong, but their lack of strategy is their weakness. Then came the king beast, larger than any seen before, with glowing red eyes that burned with fury. It charged the humans, intending to crush their line. But the tamed creatures anticipated its move. The smaller tamed beasts harassed its flanks, while the larger ones blocked its path. Humans guided every maneuver, using strategy rather than brute force. The king beast roared, shaking the forest, but the humans and their tamed creatures stood firm. Slowly, it realized it could not overpower them. The battle was no longer about size or strength, it was about intelligence, coordination, and trust. Lyra raised her hand, signaling the final maneuver. The tamed Reser beast leapt forward, encircling the king beast and cutting off its escape. With careful guidance, they forced it to retreat, followed by its pack. The Krylox army faltered, confused and disorganized. Jaren laughed with relief. "We did it. They're retreating. Humanity has won." Lyra remained cautious. "It's a victory, but not the end. The Krylox will plan again. We must stay vigilant." Even as the humans celebrated, the bond between human and beast had deepened. The creatures were no longer tools. They were partners, friends, and warriors who had chosen to fight alongside humans. Colonists could walk safely among them. Soldiers relied on them in battle. Together, they were a force no one could easily defeat. The Krylox, observing from afar, realized the truth. Humans had turned their own weapons against them. They had tamed creatures designed to kill. The galaxy's perception of humanity was changing. They were no longer prey, they were leaders, strategists, and masters of survival. Lyra looked over the battlefield, seeing her people and creatures. "United, we faced the impossible," she said. "We tamed monsters that were sent to kill us. We survived, fought back. And now, we are ready for anything the galaxy throws at us." The forest seemed to hold its breath. Tamed Reser beasts stood silently beside humans, loyal and alert. The audience seized the trust and understanding the humans and creatures had formed an unbreakable alliance. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of red and gold, Lyra addressed her team one last time. Remember this moment. Humanity has survived the impossible before, and we will survive it again. We are not just humans, we are a force that adapts, learns, and conquers. And together, with our allies, we are unstoppable. The camera pans out, showing humans and their tamed reserbeasts standing victorious on the ridge, watching the retreating Krylox disappear into the forest. Fires from past battles still glow faintly, illuminating the new guardians of Varen 5. The audience is left with a strong sense of triumph and suspense. Humanity has tamed the deadliest weapons sent to destroy them, but the galaxy is vast, and new challenges await. Will humans continue to dominate, or will something even more dangerous appear? The story concludes with the message: intelligence, courage, and adaptability can turn the tide even against forces far stronger than oneself. Humans had not just survived, they had mastered their destiny.